The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham fans and friends inspired by the work of other football food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for a WHUMUN food bank in Beckton, who supply sub-distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the WHUMUN community. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thanks for your support. Come on, you Irons.
Everywhere we go, everywhere we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. West Ham are massive. Everywhere we go, West Ham are massive. Everywhere we go, everywhere we go. West Ham are massive. Everywhere we go, West Ham are massive. Everywhere we go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the West Ham Massive. Thanks for joining us. Please don't forget to drop a like on the stream, comment on it, subscribe to the channel, share it, all that good stuff. Hit the bell notification. And we thank you very much indeed for your support. You know the drill by now, ladies and gentlemen. You also know that if adult language should offend you, that this is probably not the place for you, because we might let the odd curse word out. We're just going to be, you know, we're going to be ourselves, and if it offends you, then you might want to go somewhere else. If you don't mind the odd swear word, carry on watching. We are here, Ben and I, to discuss Premier League match day 18 of 38. We're almost halfway through the Premier League season. West Ham, Manchester United, London Stadium. Ben, 2-0 win. What did you think? You was watching it in a pub, weren't you?
I was, mate. I was the first person in the pub. They looked at me when I walked in as if to say, "Bloody hell, mate! We've only just unbolted the door." But it was obviously it was an early kick-off. Watched it in the One Bell in Crayford, and then carried on there for a good few hours after.
Yep.
But listen. Regardless of the state of Man United as a club and a team, beating Man United's always a big achievement, and to do it in the end with a very comfortable win. You know, I can't really remember being that comfortable in a game against Man United, to the extent they could be out there now and they still wouldn't score. Yeah.
Just keep an eye on the ticker at the bottom, guys. It will change as we go along with little facts like the officials there. There you go. So, hang on. Press the wrong button. Hang on. Let me press that button. There we go. Right. It's okay. You'd have thought I'd have got used to this by now. So, there we go. Now, so we're going to discuss first things first. The starting 11 was announced, Ben, and was it largely what you expected?
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, I think we've discussed it a few times. From our point of view, yeah, that's probably our strongest 11. I say that, Rob. Obviously, Agurd wasn't in there.
No,
he was ill, and obviously a bit of an odd one because Fabianski had come in and done well, and then Areola had come in and conceded 5 and didn't play that well during the week. So it was a big call to drop Fabianski, but you know, at the end of the day, he can't go on forever, and Areola is the number 1. But to be honest, mate, like we've discussed, none of the other fringe players are really putting a marker in the ground to be picked. So I think that is by far our sort of strongest lineup.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on the Manchester United lineup? Was there anybody in that lineup that you thought, uh-oh, or did you just look at it like I did and went,
Mate, honestly, I looked at that lineup and thought, we've got to beat these lot. Do you know what I mean? for the last sort of 5 years, it bugs me that we've never been able to finish above them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It really pisses me off because they've had some shocking teams and somehow they still managed to finish above us. But we've got to finish above this lot. I mean, they've got injuries and this, that, and the other. But you look at that. You look at that defence in the centre half. I mean, Johnny Evans must be pinching himself that at the stage in his career that he's in, he's starting for Man United. I mean, fuck me, they got rid of him about fucking 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And then, you got a couple of young lads in there that, they might be good players. But when I see that lineup, I thought we need to take the game to, they've got a young lad making his debut at centre half, another lad who's very inexperienced in central midfield. And then, you look at their front three. I mean, Anthony has done nothing. Hoyland, I feel for the lad because he hardly gets a kick. And then Garnacho is another young lad. But I think, look, if you looked at Man United's front three and our front three, I'd struggle putting many Man United players in our team.
Yeah, I mean, their front three have only got one goal between them all season.
Wow.
I saw that stat on Match of the Day, and ours has got 20, I think.
That must be Garnacho who scored the overhead kick.
I think so.
So I think, I was just chatting to my neighbour who's a Man United fan, and I didn't want to rub it in too much, but
you did.
I just they're so far away from being a good side, and I think their manager's got to fucking hold his hands up because he's bought half these players, and they're fucking useless. They're just not up to it, mate.
Yeah, I agree. I'll say this is a million miles away from the Man United teams that we remember growing up, but fuck them, bollocks.
Mate, I'm absolutely over them. To be honest, in a sick way, I take great pleasure in Man United being so shit. I really love it. I really, really love it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that the last couple of seasons they've had some bang average teams, and it really does frustrate me that they pretty much managed to finish above us every single time. No matter how well we've done, how bad they've been, as far as the season's concerned, some way, somehow, they've always just managed to sneak above us. So hopefully that changes this season one way or another. What were your thoughts on the first half performance, Ben?
To be honest, mate, I found the game a bit of a boring game until sort of the last, if we're going to analyse it half by half, the first half was very drab and dull. Didn't no real good chances or real good play from either side, really. I mean, I think that Garnacho burst through when Kudus had given the ball away. But it was a poor touch and a poor effort. But I think, to be honest, mate, sometimes you've got to look at it and say, Moyes overall, it was a bit of it was a stalemate of the first half. But that was a tactical masterclass from Moyes, really, overall. But no, I thought the first half was a bit of a dull affair, if I'm honest, mate.
I don't know about you. I mean, I can only remember there was a shot that Emerson had, which was saved by Onana. And like you say, Garnacho, I thought he looked lively. I felt he was the only player I saw play for Man United that I thought even sort of resembled a half-decent player. A half-decent form. The rest of them were like dog shit, if I'm being completely honest. He was their standout player for me by a fucking country mile. He had a couple of opportunities, and there was a shot that Mainu had, which looked fairly routine save for Areola, but he made a bit of a meal of it, put it away for a corner. But he really should have claimed it. He should have done better. But I'll be honest with you, mate. The first half, I wanted to pull my eyeballs out and stamp on them.
Yeah.
It was fucking really tough to watch, and
Yeah.
I was quite frustrated. You know,
Yeah, no, I agree with you, mate. I mean, listen, I want to be really positive on this show today because, you know, we're off the back of a good 2-0 win. But at half-time, I can't help, I was thinking, for fuck's sake, look at United's team. They've got 2 kids pretty much making their debut. And you know, they've got a poor side. Let's fucking go for them. Let's go after them. And to be honest, we didn't really do that in the first half. But like I say, I think overall, Moyes had a game plan to get the 3 points, and he played it to a T, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So then let's move on. Second half, we come out, and I think there was tweaks that David Moyes had done, some fairly subtle alterations. Bowen moved out to the right, and Paquetá was starting to sort of knit together some moves and whatever. And there was a header, a corner from Ward-Prowse, probably the big chance before we went 1-0 up for us. Was a corner from James Ward-Prowse, which Bowen got his head to. Powerful header. It was probably a good height for the keeper. He pulled off a save that was. It looked spectacular, but he probably made it look more spectacular than it needed to be. If that makes sense. But I'll tell you what, I'd like to just mention before we get to the breakthrough goal. I would like to mention, because I think it's important. It might be that a lot of people it's slid under their radar. But at 0-0, there was a really good opportunity that Manchester United had. I think it was Luke Shaw that played a ball from the left-hand side, played the ball across. It cut Areola out, completely took him out of the picture. And I'm sure it was Garnacho that the ball was heading to. And if Kurt Zouma doesn't get the clearance on it, he's tapping it into an empty net for 1-0 to Manchester United. That changes the complexion of the game for me if that goes in. So I've got to say that was probably a moment that people might have forgotten about, but that was key. That was absolutely critical. And I think that Zouma had an excellent game. And I've been someone that's been quite critical of him. I won't lie. Do I think he should be the club captain? No, but he is. So, okay, fine. He's a very good defender when fit, but the problem is he's not fit as much as a player that I think should be. You know, if he's captain and on his wages and all the rest of it, he should be available every fucking week as far as I'm concerned, but he isn't. But that moment there was
I mean, Rob, I can't actually remember that, if I'm honest, mate.
Yeah, no, as I say, it was a ball that fizzed across, and as I say, Areola was completely out of the picture. He was out of the picture, mate. And Garnacho is there, and all he literally had to do was, if it comes to him, he just makes a decent connection. He was in the 6-yard box. He was completely, you know, if it comes to him, then he's got to score, and I think he would have done. So the fact that Zouma did the business, like I say, probably a moment that's gone under the radar a little bit. Everybody's looking at Paquetá, everybody's looking at Bowen, everybody's looking at Kudus and giving the plaudits, and rightly so. Don't misunderstand me. But that was a critical moment.
Yeah. And like you say, Rob, I think defensively, you know, if you take the 5-1 hammering out the equation, where we rotated the defensive line, that's 2 clean sheets on the bounce now in the league, which is great news because we've been leaking goals. And I think obviously Zouma and Mavropanos, who I'm not sure have actually started a game together. It's usually been, do you know what I mean? It's usually been a Gerd and Mavropanos.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but you know, but that definitely, showed signs of a good little partnership there defensively. So yeah, really, really pleasing to see, and we defended well.
Yeah, and then we come to the goal. Now, a lot of people are saying, and I thought this, so I'm not saying that I was thinking the same thing. that this goal was assisted by Lucas Paquetá. Apparently not, as far as the statistics are concerned, because the ball was played over the top. Bowen's obviously cut in from the right. It drops to him. Bowen has the shot. Onana initially makes the save, and that's the reason why it's not going down as an assist for Lucas Paquetá, because it's rebounded off a goalkeeper back to Bowen. It's kind of hit him round about shin, knee height, and then it's trundled in. But shit goalkeeping. I mean, fucking hell. I mean, this guy was meant to be an upgrade on David De Gea. Fucking hell. He's been absolute fucking wank as far as I'm concerned.
He's awful. He's awful. But to be honest, mate, regardless of what the stats in the Premier League say, I think we can all safely say for us, that's a Paquetá assist as a West Ham fan.
He made that.
I mean, and look, and I think what we've got to try and do, we've got to try and strengthen in the summer or rejig things. Just to try, I just think I think he's been good out wide, but I think we need to try and get Paquetá back in the middle, mate, because yesterday just showed me, and fair play to Moyes for tweaking it tactically, but when he come into the middle, he was just you're getting him on the ball an awful lot more, and he's our best footballer in terms of ability and skill. We need him on the ball. I mean, the goal. It's a shame that it ended up being a scruffy goal because fuck me, Bowen cutting inside, Paqueta's touch,
great movement.
Paqueta's touch and flick is just fucking like poetry. Do you know what I mean? It really is just beautiful football. And obviously Bowen's got in there. He's had the shot, like you say, it's come back off Onana, but Bowen just keeps getting in the positions to nick a goal. So it was scrappy, but we needed something like that just to get in the lead.
Yeah, and once the breakthrough had been made, I from my perspective, I just saw us. We slightly grew in a little bit of confidence and belief at that point, and the exact opposite happened to Manchester United. I think you could just see a little bit of a slump in the shoulders, the chin sort of like it was on the chest. 6 minutes later, and you mentioned him earlier, Johnny Evans plays the ball to Kobe Mainu. Now, look, I'm not blaming Johnny Evans here. It has to be said he was obviously involved in it. I don't know what the fuck happened. He must have took his eye off the ball or something. It trundles under his right boot and ends up going straight to Kudus, who popped a pass straight to Paquetá, and he's obviously carried on his run, and Paquetá's immediately released it into his path. He takes a controlling touch, moves past the defender, who I think was Johnny Evans. I think he was on a recovery run at that point. Lines up a shot, right foot, arrows low into the corner past Onana. 2-0, and that 76 minutes gone. That's probably game over at that point.
Yeah, mate. I think the thing with Man United that is really obvious to see is that if they go a goal up, they're not a bad side. Like they can win a game, yeah. But it's like the minute they go a goal down, their confidence just goes through the fucking floor, and it's like they've got no chance of coming back. They might as well fucking call the game off. Look, you feel for the young lad because that Mainu has come in and looks like he's playing well. Yep. But look, that's elite level sport and Premier League football. It's an unforgiving place, and one error can lead to a goal. And to be honest, Rob, I must have watched that goal about 10 times today. I just can't get enough of it. I just think it was fucking beautiful play. That, like you say, Kudus has got it first time to Paquetá. Paqueta's weight of pass, that is not an easy pass. Do you know what I mean? It was, he could have easily overhit it and it go to the goalie or whatever, but the weight of the pass was perfect, right into his Kudus' stride. And obviously, Kudus is left-footed, so he's brought it on his right, but he's obviously he's got some power. That ball just fucking flew into the bottom corner. But, in fairness, Onana didn't have a chance with that one. And it was 2-0. We got to see the little celebration of him sitting on the hoarding, and it was game over, mate. They just, you knew it was 3 points in the bag.
Yeah, they didn't offer really anything of any substance after. It just seemed that once the ball went in the back of the net for 2-0, like I say, I pretty much knew they ain't coming back from that. We would have to literally gift wrap the 3 points as far as with 14 minutes left on the clock. So and obviously we got to full time. 3 points were in the bag, and at that point we was up to 6. Now, obviously, at that point there was still all of the Premier League games left to unfold. We're still 6th.
Yeah, to be honest, mate, you looked at the games and you thought, well, Newcastle will beat Luton. Do you know what I mean? But obviously not. So it's like, we're in WhatsApp groups together and this, that, and the other, and at times the football this season hasn't been perfect, but Jesus Christ, there's some good teams in this league, and to think we're above Man United, we're above Chelsea, we're 4 points behind Man City. I know they've got a game in hand, but we sat here, Rob, of maybe a month or two ago when we was on a run of losing games. And we went back to Moyes' little quote when he said, well, winning is what I do. And that's exactly what he's done since we had that discussion. We're churning out the wins. And overall, that was a bloody good performance yesterday. Once he tweaked it and Paqueta come in the middle, that was a joy to watch.
Yeah. I wonder if that little tweak might be something that, is possibly how we're going to start against Arsenal. I don't know. I mean, possibly not. I think that Moyes will, regrettably, I think he will change it for going to the Emirates, because I just think that that's what Moyes does, doesn't he? He goes a little bit more pragmatic, shall we say. But there you go. As far as the star men for each team, what were your thoughts?
Do you know what, mate? Everyone had a good game from our point of view. Like you've pointed out, defensively we were strong. But if I have to pick one, it's probably Paqueta. I just like I say, I think we didn't really have control of the game and then when Bowen's cut in, obviously he's got 2 assists. He got 3 assists last week. That's 5 assists in 2 games, right? This guy, when he wants to turn it on, this guy is fucking magic. Do you know what I mean? He can just take hold of a game. So I think Paqueta for me, but then Kudus and Bowen are just shortly behind him, and we got some attacking threat, mate. We've got some quality players, and we should be fighting it out for a top 6 spot. So some big clubs are going to miss out. But I've got to give credit to Moyes, and he's done a good job.
Was there anybody from Manchester United that stood out?
I'd have to say, first half, I actually thought Luke Shaw played well for Man United, because Kudus didn't really get a sniff in the first half. Luke Shaw was winning that battle. And then I think Kudus only really started to become more effective when he sort of come a bit more central. And Shaw, he weren't competing with Shaw all the time. But, I thought Shaw had a good game. I thought the young lad at centre half making his debut played well for Man United, for a debutant. But no, mate. Overall, that was a stinking performance for Man United.
Yeah, I'd probably say for them, like I say, the player that I thought stood out was Garnacho. Now, obviously, you and I haven't spoken about who I thought was the West Ham man of the match, so it's quite interesting that you've agreed with me. Lucas Paquetá. I mean, you look at some of those stats. Now, I know you could probably point to, but hold on a minute. He had 6 unsuccessful touches and his pass accuracy was 71.7%. Like I say, as far as the stats gurus are concerned, he only had 1 assist because the Jared Bowen goal rebounded off the goalkeeper. So it goes down as a key pass, I'm guessing. But yeah, I think that's that sort of splitting hairs. But some of the other stats, he had 81 touches of the ball. He had 2 shots. He got the assist, as I say. 5 long balls which he played. 2 of them were accurate. 1 through ball accurate. 2 aerials. 1. He gets in with tackles as well. And clearances. When he brings his A game, he's unplayable.
Yeah. And I think, do you know what? I think there was, I mean, he's a beautiful player, Rob. He is. But I think there was something in the first half. And I think he gave the ball away in the middle of the park. And I think I think it was Garnacho again. But then actually, he fucking sprinted back and put in a really good tackle to get it out for a corner. So, yeah, he is a grafter. And he has got the ability. And I think he's only just going to get better. The more he's used to the Premier League, and hopefully we can keep hold of him, and he don't get banned for all the betting.
Don't even go there. No, I'm sure it'll all sort itself out. But yeah, so was the final score a fair reflection on how the match panned out for you?
I think it was, mate. Yeah, I genuinely do. I think that was pretty. Fair reflection of the game. I think we ran out deserved winners in the second half. We turned it on, and 2 quality goals. So yeah, I think it was a well-deserved win.
How do you think this result will impact on the next match, which is obviously on the 28th? We go to the Emirates and we play Arsenal, who yesterday got a point at Anfield.
I'm not sure that it does. I'm not sure that I think these games are sort of standalone games in isolation. But like I say, I think I hope I would like to see Paquetá back in the middle if we can get him there. I think maybe, but I think that front three are so fluid and flexible. I think hopefully the team have a nice break for a few days, have a good Christmas, and they're fired up for the game against Arsenal because I really, the old Declan Rice saga, I really would love us to get one over Arsenal.
Yeah, I think we're all hoping for that. Oh, look who's just arrived.
Hey, Davey boy.
How are we doing, Dave? Hope you're well. Yeah, I mean, how is it going to impact on the next game? Well, in terms of the confidence, because let's be fair, after the thrashing that we took at Anfield, I think if we'd have gone into this on the back of a negative result, going to the Emirates, I think that's going to be really tough. I see now that we've got a little bit more confidence about us. I'm not saying we're going to go there and win necessarily, but it gives us a better chance. I'd be very interested to see sort of like the team sheet. Hopefully he doesn't make too many alterations. Hopefully he'll stick with the tried and tested. It worked against Manchester United. I'd be really annoyed, although I probably can see it happening, if he starts to sort of move things around and change things and just basically park the bus. I'd like to see us try and have a go at them.
Yeah, no, and I think the two clean sheets in the last 2 games is pretty important, Rob, because I'd like to think, that's giving the defence a bit more confidence that, do you know what, let's go to Arsenal and let's be dogged and tight and stay in the game for as long as possible. A bit like we did against Man United yesterday. We just stayed in the game, don't concede, and then your creative players will, once they get an opportunity with a bit of time and space, they can cause you damage. Because let's be honest, when Paquetá got the ball for the first goal, he had so much space, and all you've got to do, Bayern's made a good run, and Paqueta will find him.
Yeah, it was great vision from Paqueta, and then the execution of the scooped pass. That was the key moment. Looking there, that is the Premier League table as of right this very moment. This is post the Wolves 2, Chelsea 1 result. So this is current, ladies and gentlemen. There we are in 6th. I mean, like you say, we're 4 points off of City, although they do have that game in hand. But everybody else is there on 18 and 6, and we're there on merit.
Well, I tell you what, mate. You know, you look at that, and there are some good and big sides. You know, if you're finishing in the top 10, you're doing well by the look of it. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, Chelsea have spent fucking £1 billion, and they're just about in the top half. So, you know, testament to the team and testament to Moyes, like, you know, Newcastle. That'd be an interesting one, you know. That'd be an interesting one. I was, you know, with Newcastle and the amount of money they've got, if they don't get in Europe or the Champions League, will the owners think of getting rid of Eddie Howe? And you know, that would be an interesting one for me.
If let's sort of play a little bit of role play. Get to the end of the season, and what happens. Moyes comes to the end of his deal. Thank you very much. We're moving on to a different direction. Would Eddie Howe be on your shortlist?
Well, mate, Eddie Howe would be by far number one on the shortlist for me personally. I think he's fantastic, but like I say, if they don't get in Europe, they might feel that they want a bigger name to bring Newcastle trophies. So yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, he's fairly young, he's experienced, and these teams have always played good football. So yeah, he'd be number one for me.
Fair enough, Ben. Right, I think we're going to call it quits there. Any final thoughts you want to get off your chest?
No, just Merry Christmas, everyone who's watching and tuning in, and yeah, really pleased that we've finished the year. Well, that's finished before Christmas. There's one more game left, but we've a couple of good wins in the league. We're confident. Arsenal's going to be a very tough game, but again, just let's fucking hang in there and just try and nick a result. We've done it before, and we can do it again.
Absolutely, well said. Right, guys, we're going to leave it there. As I say, from Ben, from myself, a very Merry Christmas to all of you and your respective families. Hope you all get all the presents under your tree that you've asked for, and unless you've been a naughty boy or girl, in which case you might get a bag of peanuts or something like that. So, but you know, better luck next year. But anyway, guys, please don't forget to like, comment on, and share the stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. Hit the bell icon and click all for alerts on new content. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much indeed for your support in this matter. We're going to disappear, and we'll see you for the Arsenal preview, which will probably be Wednesday, I think.
Sounds good.
Sounds good, Ben?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Happy days. All right, well, we're going to knock it on the head there, guys. Come on, you Irons, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham fans and friends inspired by the work of other football food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for a WHUMUN food bank in Beckton, who supplies sub-distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the WHUMUN community. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thanks for your support. Come on, you Irons.